Fruits of the Forest from Clover just added real cereal crunch. A symphony of fruit, oats, seeds, and granola crunch. Fruits of the Forest. Real fruit, real cereal, real taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Right, all right, as promised, we have got our beautiful queen joining us in the kitchen. Dumi, welcome back.
I see the shade y'all are throwing me. I see you salty bits.
Salty a little bit?
Salty
no,
much?
listen, as I did say, sometimes it is gentlemen first. And Chef Charles, you did an absolutely incredible job in that first recipe. So now it's time for you to use your magic again.
Well, we need some summer beauty, so that's why, Tumi's back in the kitchen with our berries as well, Come on, girl, what do you got there?
Anyway, craving something delicious on a hot summer's day? Well, don't worry, we've got you covered. Make this creamy, light and refreshing frozen dessert in a few minutes using only 3 ingredients.
Imagine dessert, and we have instant dessert and eat later dessert. So whenever there's dessert at the end of the conversation, you got my attention.
Yeah.
Definitely got my attention. And what we're doing, Balasa, you touched on it, just talking about the 3 ingredients we're going to be using for this dessert. Now, the reason we've chosen to go with the frozen berries is because there's not too much of water content in them and making them easier to freeze. So what fruits do we want to shy away from if we're going to be doing such a dish?
Well, again, look, it's it's a pretty open-ended kind of thing. But I mean, so when you start going to your deciduous fruits, your plums and nectarines and peaches, as well as they can work.
Yeah.
But what you want to do is sort of intensify the flavour, because then you get a very sort of solid crystal content, which is what you don't want. So if you want something very icy, then by all means, go for that. But when you want something like this sort of popsicle, you're wanting that sort of wonderful fruitiness. You're wanting that creaminess that's going to give that voluptuous element to it as well. So work on things there. Be careful of your fruit that also oxidizes. So things like bananas as well. And obviously you've got to put a little bit of lime or lemon juice will certainly help it as well. But actually, funny enough, bananas, actually, people try and shy away from freezing. They actually freeze really well. And they're a great little snack just on their own, but they must be, put it with a bit of vinegar or lemon or something just to stop it oxidizing.
Yeah, for myself, I mean, I only relate to this when it comes to smoothie making. I love my smoothie. It's not a secret. And yeah, bananas, I actually learned that by myself. Bananas freeze incredibly. Yes, they do change colour. But you've also given me a nice tip. Add that vinegar, add that acidic content to it, and it'll just
Absolutely. And it'll brighten it up as well. And the lovely thing of this, you can start starting to change and add bits and pieces to this as well. You can just start putting your chai seeds into there if you want to go the real healthy route. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up some lovely little strawberries and then pop them into once Tumi's sort of made that blend mixture up. So again, you can really jazz things up and you can really be sort of quite chefy, or just keep it really simple because it's just great berries that are in season. You got that wonderful yogurt as well. I mean, what more do you want? What would you add?
What would I add? I think the one thing I'm loving here is just the convenience of the fact that it's a 3-ingredient dish.
Yeah.
The fact that we've only just added the frozen berries in there. I've added some honey in there just for a touch of sweetness, but because we're going to be using our Clover fruits of the forest, if you want to omit the sugar completely leave out the honey as well. You can have it nice and tart with just the fruits of the forest. And the great part about it is because the fruits of the forest has that cereal mix that has the granola, the oats, and the seeds in there, you've got that crunch texture that comes from it. So even though we're going to blitz it, you still will have those crunchy elements to it. And you were saying, Chef, what would I add? I'd probably add stuff like that, like a bit more nuts, maybe once I've blitzed everything together. Just some nuts for texture. We're using berries. Definitely add some chocolate in there just for, from around the ice popsicles there, just add some melted chocolate. But before I go too far, let me just show you how simple this is. We added the honey, we added the frozen berries. The reason for the frozen berries as well, we don't want to water it down. So we're not adding any ice cubes, we're not adding any water. The frozen fruits are more than enough in this instance.
And
before we go too far, I'm not sure if you saw the tactic. I poured the liquid last and the fruits at the end so that as it blitz the fruits as well. Otherwise, if it was the fruit, sometimes you end up having to take it out
and shake it up.
Do it again. So just make sure the liquid is at closest to the blade so everything just blends up quickly. And there we go.
Very, very smooth. Now, we've got a little bit of a taste tester here. Don't worry, Mzansi, I'm not going to double dunk, but I actually want to have a taste of this mixture just before it freezes, that you can enjoy, as you said, as a frozen dessert or as a popsicle.
Absolutely, and it's so versatile there. But now imagine adding that to other components as well. That going with a lovely little baked goodie or something, could also, work really, really well. So
delicious.
It's quite versatile. I mean, now that mixture, now what I'm going to do is just sort of pour it into my mould. If I can get it out.
Remember, we're talking about the instant dessert, Bali. That's what you basically just enjoyed by scooping that smoothie bowl into your mouth. And I'm also going to do the same. So if you want to enjoy it now, definitely use it as is. But if you want to enjoy it later, pour it into a freezer-proof container if you want to eat it as a sorbet. And then make sure you cover it and make sure the plastic or whatever you use touches the surface so it doesn't create any additional icicles or ice crystals. If it does happen, just take it out of the freezer, blend it all again, and then...
Beautiful. Well, just like that, as Chef Chart is putting through that mixture in the little ramekin or hold, you can get this recipe over at afternoonexpress.co.za.